A Goldsboro woman is now facing 7 felony charges after deputies say that she shared nude photos of a North Carolina-based Marine without his consent. Investigators say that 18-year-old Nevaeh Veronica Moses met the Marine through social media and went on 2 dates before a heated argument. Then they say she sent intimate images of him to several of his contacts on Instagram. The Naval Criminal Investigative Service, NCIS, assisted Wayne County deputies in this case, and Moses later admitted to the crime. She was eventually released on a $25,000 unsecured bond and is due back in court August 14th.
All right, we want to bring in our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes, to talk about what could come next in this case. Khalif, one, this is relatively new when we talk about, sharing nude photos. Something that didn't used to be illegal, and then we had to get quickly laws in place because digitally shared nude images, you don't have the right to do that.
Yeah, well, we hope what comes next is not more pictures. Let's start with that part.
Indeed.
So the first thing I can say is you're right. This is something that's new. Revenge porn type of laws were not on the books, were not in place. We are reactive. I say that a lot of times here. This is a situation where, okay, this is happening and people didn't recognize it, specifically our lawmakers in our state. And then they recognize, okay, this is a way that people are attempting to intimidate, harass, or put people in some type of situation they don't want to be in. We need to get a law that protects these individuals. So then we get this law in place. But what comes next is a criminal process. I mean, you heard about the pre-trial process, which is she was given an unsecured bond and she was released. That seems typical for a person that doesn't have any criminal history. But then the next step is now you have to go through trying to either come up with a defense for what happened or, look for some type of plea, if there is no defense, to ensure that you don't get convicted of this crime, because these are felony charges, which you don't want.
How would you defend her when it appears a lot of emotion was involved in this decision, right? Whether you agree with it or not, but the intent seems to be shame and punishment. Like, how do you defend something like that? Or is it much easier to prosecute?
Shame. But no, all jokes aside, in this scenario, it is the exact same thing. You got to look like any crime. I want to know what the elements are. When you're looking at charges in North Carolina or any state, there will be elements, requirements that you have to meet. One of the elements for this is their specific intent crime. And so she had to have the intent to cause some harm. Okay, and you can see they mentioned that in the press release, that she had an intent to create harm. But there's some other things in here. Is the person identifiable? Are you able to clearly identify that this individual is in that photo? Well, and it doesn't have to just be with the photo. The person themselves that is depicted in the photo can say, hey, yeah, that's me. Look at my mole right there. Or look at this scar from when I was 12. So they can also use that information to also convict that person. But it also can be a digital altered image, because we have AI now. Our legislators added that. So it could be this person's face, but maybe some digitally altered information there as well. So, and then the last portion is without consent. So you ask the question of how could I defend it? Well, if we're sending images back and forth, we're posting things, to each other back and forth. That doesn't give you consent to now post it in some other location. And so that would be what I would attempt to argue, is that my client was given consent from the other individual. The other individual in the state would come back and say, well, show me the proof.
Yeah, right. And so this is all happening to someone who is at Camp Lejeune, right? So is there an added element there of the military aspect? Does that increase the severity of the charges at all?
Well, I know they're not drinking the water. Well, obviously, with those type of situations that have happened in the past, there have been a number of negative things there associated with this. And so from the military component, obviously, you're held to a higher standard. You're held to a higher regard. And so there's codes of conduct just even within there. So she may be looking at some military repercussions for doing this. But outside of that, she'll go through the normal process like any other criminal defendant would. In North Carolina, our felony charges go from A to I. This is a Class H, second lowest in our state. And then it goes left to right. So if you are a person with no criminal history, you'd be a level 1. If you have a significant criminal history, you'd be a level 6. I suspect, based on her release, that she's a level 1. So she could be facing, we have either active time, intermediate time, or community time. This is a type of charge that you're not sending people to jail or prison. And so you're saying 4 months or 3 months, I should say, at the lowest. But on the high end, it could be 25 months. I don't suspect she's a level 6. That's folks with multiple offenses, 4 and 5 felonies. But in a case like this is to protect individuals, to ensure that you do have that expectation of privacy in those situations in your most intimate moments.
All right, Khalif. Again, something where we've seen the laws rapidly change over the past couple of years. Khalif, thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.